So maybe I was a bit too quick to write off the M1. So in this video, I'm going to tell you 4 reasons why I decided to keep the M1. Let's go. So let's talk about the first point. So if you guys caught not my last video, but a video before my last video, I got a lot of heat, shall we say, or a little bit, just in terms of dislikes on the video, people thinking it was clickbait. But I think if you actually watched the video, it wasn't clickbait. This was just me in the moment, frustrated about how the M1 didn't work, how I struggled to get DaVinci, how I couldn't get DaVinci 17.1. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'll take it. But the first point and the #1 reason why I have actually decided to come back to the M1 is because I finally got DaVinci Resolve 17.1 to work. So shout out to, let me see, the name, what's the name? So shout out to C-Blade in the comments. He actually told me that the DaVinci Resolve 17.1 for the M1 Max was actually in a different place. It's not straight on a website. You have to go deep into the Blackmagic website to actually find it. So what I actually did, I was actually able to find it. Once I got that basically resolved a lot of the issues I was having, because, you know, not being able to edit, you know, it basically makes the laptop useless. There's no point in spending that kind of money if I can't edit. But that's been resolved. So that's the first and the most important reason why I came back to the M1. The second point is, this is the MacBook Air I'm using, and there has no fan. There's no fan in the M1 MacBook Air, and to me, that is glorious.
And it is glorious!
That is amazing, because I hate fan noise and I hate, obviously, laptop getting hot. One of the big reasons why I've returned, I think, 2 MacBook Airs over the last few years is because of that fan noise. And it's not fan noise on the load, it's fan noise just turning it on. So being able to basically use a laptop and it be just silent. Not even, I wouldn't even say whisper quiet. It's not whisper quiet, it's just quiet, it's silent. That's amazing. It never gets hot. The hottest it gets is basically your body, like your body heat. Like it's nothing. There's no heat. It's incredible. And that is definitely up there with one of the reasons why I decided to keep the M1. Now the third point and the third reason why I decided to keep the M1 is the power. Apple didn't let us down. There was a lot of talk, people saying, is it really gonna be as powerful as they say? You know, their graphs with no numbers, but they did it, man. They did it. This is the Air. The Air is usually the one that's underpowered. Not too long ago, it had that Y series low powered chip, which was basically useless for anybody doing any serious work. I'm able to edit 4K on this. It basically does everything my 16-inch does. The same, I took 2 footage that was basically the same, well, that was the same footage, and I got 30 seconds slower on the M1 MacBook Air, which is crazy, because even though it's slower, 30 seconds slower for a laptop that is half the price of my MacBook Pro 16-inch is crazy. The power is crazy. I get all the power basically of the MacBook Pro 16-inch in a smaller form factor with 0 fan noise, even under load, and almost no thermal throttling, or no thermal issues, even under load. It's incredible. So here's the 4th reason. Now, this reason, I actually think a lot of people need to consider this, because with what the M1s have done now, which is kind of blowing the whole market, you know, I would say the whole computer market, with the performance, the thermals, the efficiency, the battery life, we need to recalibrate. As MKBHD said, we need to recalibrate, because right now the Intel Macs are still on the market for some models, but for me, I think it makes more sense to sell my 16-inch MacBook Pro, because Intel Macs are probably gonna go, they're just gonna take a nosedive in terms of resale value, because if these M1 Macs, well, they've delivered, but if the next line of M1 Macs continue to deliver, then it is curtains for Intel. So if you have an Intel Mac, it's probably best to sell it as soon as possible in order to kind of keep some of that resale value, because it could be like electric cars in 20 years, you know, versus gasoline cars. I mean, it could really be that where they're not going to be worth anything. So it's probably best to just jump off Intel and get the M1, because they work now. I'm not having any issues with the apps like I was in the other video. So yeah, this is the one to get. Like I always say after every video, I'm on a road to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you want to join the journey, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'm making loads more videos. There'll be more M1 content on the way. So please help me out. Hit the subscribe button and join the journey. I appreciate you, and I will catch you in the next one.
And it is glorious!